Hey there, welcome to Hermit Haven. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we can celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley. We're so excited to have you here. We are talking about this week about that mindset that we all have in the beginning of the year, new me. But at this point, I'm pretty sure a lot of us kind of like don't know where to go with that mentality, that kind of like burned out, right? We're starting to realize that maybe that was a season, right? Like that's kind of what happens in life. There's seasons, right? And I think you start realizing that when you're like, what's happening, right? And I think a lot of times we fall victim to the season, right? We don't realize that like this was just a season, right? But that habit that you were building in this mindset, this excitement that you had can be continued. It doesn't have to end. So we really want to talk about in this episode that what is seasons, right? What is this idea? But also talk about like how when we do have this excitement and stuff, that how do we go with that, but also like the thoughts, the ideas we have around different seasons. Like I don't know, like you could be still stuck in the holiday season and feel like I wasn't good enough because I didn't get my house clean enough in, because this season was harder, right? So I gave up on this, right? Or in this season, you said, I wanted to do this whole new year, new mindset, but it's too cold out. I don't want to go to the gym anymore, right? So you just gave up instead of be like, hey, I want to do workouts at home and continue this mindset, right? And I think this is what happens all the time because we don't see that life is just life. It's going to happen. Life happens. Seasons happen.
Yeah, Ashley's always talking to me about saying the words, it's just a season to me. So I think like this is so prevalent for the new year because like you said, a lot of people have the new year, new me mindset and they make all these plans and they're like, this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year that I'm going to, get fit or go build a business or I don't know, learn something new. And granted, we're like in the very beginning, we're like still in January. But I think this is good to remember throughout the year because we have these exciting goals. And I've heard that when you make like goals like that you get a dopamine hit just by making the goal. I heard this recently and I was like mind blown. Like it makes so much sense. Like just by making the goal, you get a dopamine hit and you get excited, which is great because hopefully it forces you to like get started or whatever or entices you. But also when that wears off, like that excitement, and you realize, wow, there's a lot of work to be done to get to whatever it is. I think in the new year specifically, like that's what happens. And people start to realize, like, oh, this can get really like mundane and really, let's say boring, but like it's just kind of like, it is. It's kind of a lot of the work that we're doing is boring work, like mindset work. It can just be boring work. And we can, romanticize it and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the boring work is the work that really changes your life. So sometimes it can be boring and you can make it more exciting. But also, Ashley will, if I'm having like a bad day or a bad week or like hormones, whatever, Ashley will be like, it's just a season. It'll be gone soon. And so I think this can go both ways because in that aspect, it's nice to know it's just a season. Like it's just a day, it's just a week, it's just a small ish area, of time. But I know that when we thought about this episode, we were wanted to talk about how sometimes you have to think of it as more than just a season, right? And like when you're making these bit like I don't want to say big changes, but I wrote down a whole bunch of identities that I'm trying to change for myself this year. And I have to realize that there's not really a time limit. I'm not like, okay, by December, whatever, by September, I'm going to be doing all these things. Like this is a lifelong journey. A lot of the things we put in place that we want to truly change our lives are like a lifelong journey. And so sometimes it can hurt us by thinking of it in that small season. I know it's like super contradictory,
No,
but it all
it's
has to do
true.
with seasons.
No, it's true. And I love that you brought that up because that's like perfect for this episode. I think me and Jackie were kind of building this episode before we even hopped on camera. And, we really want to get an idea though, like it goes both ways, right? Like it's just a season, but you don't want to use that as an excuse either, right? Like if it's just a season and your laundry's never going to get done, right? Let's be honest. Like if it's just a season, like let's be honest, you're probably not going to get dressed and you're going to stay in pajamas, right? Like it's not just a season sometimes, right? It's sometimes it's a lifestyle, right? So it does go both ways, like you're saying, like it's not, it's almost like you have to accept that have your I don't know like have that moment right where you're accepting it's just a season, but then it's saying okay, what do I do in this season to make it better? And I
Yeah.
think that goes back to what we've been talking about, these identities, right? These small changes, right? Like if you don't realize and you don't understand that it's just a season and you're just like, well, I'm busy, I can't help it, I'm like blah blah blah, like or I'm so bored, I just want to do nothing and watch a movie. Well,
Yeah.
then all these other things that you have going on are never going to happen. Even like Jackie is saying, like the excitement of creating a goal, I will tell you, and I literally was just telling Matt this, like I think I'm the type of person sometimes where I do get wrapped up in the excitement of a plan more than the actual plan itself, right? It's like
Yeah.
going on a trip, right? Like some people love the excitement of planning it, but as soon as they get there, they're like, oh, I actually have to like go do these things. Like I
Yeah.
can't just like go take pictures and leave.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what's crazy about this whole idea of a season, right? So it goes both ways, right? Like you can use it as your crutch and be like, I can't move on. It's just this season. Or you can say it like, hey, it's just a season. I can't get to the next level right now in certain aspects because I'm being pulled in a different direction. But I do have 5-10 minutes to give to this one thing. I'm going to give it to this one thing because that's all I have. Right.
Yeah.
And something we have a really fun bonus episode coming up, and something we're going to talk more about too is the flip side, which is when you start realizing and noticing that there is seasons, right? That maybe it's your kid going through a different age as a season, right? It's just a transition, right? Like, that transition when they're like having a sleep regression or they're going from from being 1 to 2, right? There's that, or 2 to 3s, like there's that season, right? There's always a season for something, right? And we're going to talk about, well, that love that you have for your child or the love you have for the thing you're doing is going to outweigh whatever season you're in. And that's something we're really going to get more into. Like, what do you do once you recognize the season and how do you keep pushing through? Because again, even though you have that dopamine hit and you're like, woohoo, it's New Year, new me, ha ha ha. And then you're like 30 days in and it's cold and there's a snowstorm and you're like, I can't make it to the gym. And then 2 weeks go by and you're like, oh, it's just a season, it was a snowstorm. But I moved on to the next hobby and the new thing. Well, that's okay, right? You experiment it with trying to work out, but you realize that that was a season, the new year, new me. And instead, maybe it's the way you're approaching it, right? It's okay, well, I had a goal to work out. Well, that goal was just sustainable for the new year. How do you now make
Yeah.
that goal live past that season?
Yeah. I think what you said with like, even if it's just a few minutes, I think that's like the key to getting through a season, but still working towards whatever it is that you're working towards. It doesn't even always have to be a goal. And a lot of times we're talking goals, but like I said, I have identities that I'm trying to change and that I'm trying to work towards that. Like today, for instance, I had a whole, I told a friend of mine, we both text each other and we're like, we're unbothered queens. Like, we're just unbothered this year. And there was, a car in front of me being silly. And I was like, it out loud to myself. Pierce is in the backseat. I'm like, Jackie, it's fine. Just fine. Unbothered queen. We're an unbothered queen today. Like sometimes I have to like coach myself. But, as far as like taking a few minutes here and there, I told myself I wanted to play piano. Like I want to start putting time into the piano. And like I haven't done any of that. And it's almost February. And it's fine. Like I'm not trying to beat myself up. But could I have taken 5 minutes? 5 minutes is like nothing. Could I have taken 5 minutes like once a week, which is nothing, to just sit down at the piano? I mean, even just sitting down, even just showing up to the gym is better than not showing up to the gym. You know what I mean? Even if you don't
Yeah.
go inside, or even if you go inside, walk for 5 minutes on a treadmill and leave, like who cares? But spending that time and putting just a few minutes in, I know it feels like nothing and it feels like almost a waste of time because it's like no time, but that really helps you push through to eventually get to the point where you're putting more and more time into that thing that you want to
Mhm.
go after, or the identity. The more and more that I tell myself out loud that I'm an unbothered queen, like one day I'm going to be unbothered queen.
You are gonna be an unbothered queen because you're working for those goals, and I love that. I think too,
Yeah.
you could take this idea and be like, when we were going for our grief period, right? That was just a season, right? We
Yeah.
knew, like, and of course, we're still grieving. We're always going to be grieving, but
Yeah.
that serious grief, right? Right? We felt so guilty that we couldn't show up to the things we're supposed to be showing up, right? Because we're
Mhm.
grieving so hard, right? And into you, we were able to accept that that was just a season, that we were never like that heavy grief was going to end, even though I was always going to grieve, right?
Yeah.
You weren't able to move on. And I think that's sometimes what it is, right? And I think too, like and I know like I get lost in the sauce. Let me be honest. I'll be like, how are we up to January? Like, I don't even know, right? It's the same thing with like Ari's pictures. I'm like, oh, I gotta take a month picture. We got like 2 days left to the month ends. Like, right? Like I get lost in the days, the months, the years. Like I know I do, right? But I
Yeah.
think it's the fact is like I know that I like see and I recognize sometimes that I'm like, oh, it might be the season we're in, right? Like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, like something's happening that's triggering me not to keep up with what I need to do. Something about this season, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the season can look like a year. And sometimes the season can look like 2 weeks. And sometimes the season can look like literally not even an hour, right? Like you're like the whole world's melting down, you're melting down, you're like, I can't deal. I just can't deal. I'm overstimulated, I'm overwhelmed, like there's just too much going on. Like, right? And you're like, I can't move on. That could be a season too. It's crazy to think that, but that could be a season. Like when we think seasons, like we're saying like any moment of time where you are like, hey, this something's different. Something's trigger me to do something different than I've been trying to do, right? Or hey, I am trying to do something different and then something happens to trigger me to stop doing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
right? And then we fall into a different season and we fall into a different mentality, right? And I think we need to realize that we need to find a way to separate what's going on around us and what is going on mentally with us. And then once we start separating, we start realizing that we are not a victim to the season. Everything around us can be chaotic. Everything around us can be going on amazing, joyful, loving, right? Everything around us is happening. But I am who I am, and I'm walking into this season knowing who I am, knowing that these are the things I want to show up for. And so, New Year, New Me doesn't exist with me because every day is a chance to be this person I want to be. Because I don't believe in a season. I believe that I can be anyone I want to be 365 days out of that year.
Yeah, when Ashley and I were talking about this episode, she one of like the first things that she said was like, "Yeah, don't fall victim to the season." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" But then we started talking, and I was like, "It makes so much sense because we all do it, right? Life always happens, and so we fall victim to the season of life that is busy or chaotic, or like maybe there's a huge life change, or you have grief, or whatever, and you fall victim to that." And I'm not saying that those aren't real things, and I'm not trying to say like keep pushing, hustle through, not at all. Like you'll know how much time you have or how serious the season is to your mental health and like your whatever. But I think like we're just trying to say that you need to make sure that what you can control, that you're at least like trying to put time into it and time into yourself, like whether that looks like reading right before bed for a few minutes because that's literally all you can do, or maybe you have more time and you're like actually putting time into changing your diet so that you feel better, or getting more steps outside or whatever. Like today I don't know that I'll hit my steps goal, and I'm not going to beat myself up over it because tomorrow's a new day and I just start over, and it's just kind of that mentality of like, to I did what I could do today. Like whatever I could do today is what I could do, and I feel good about maximizing what I was able to do. And I think part of that is like us letting go of how much we think we need to get done. Because we think that we need to get way more done, or we think that we can get way more done than sometimes we actually can. And yeah, sometimes like we need to look at our screen time. Maybe that is holding us back. But sometimes it's like I know that I underestimate how long things will take. Underestimate, right? Like I think things will take less time than they actually do take. And that really can hinder me. And so anyway, in tough seasons, I'm like, I'm not getting enough done or whatever. And it's like, well, you need to be like realistic about really what you can get done in this season right now, or this week that I'm feeling like last week I was in like a huge funk. And I was just like, I'm going to be gentle with myself in this few days of my hormones being crazy, and I'll get done what I can get done, even if it's not my normal routine. And yeah,
No, but
what do
that's
they
a
say?
great.
Like, have a different like energy level list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. But that's a good point too. And I think like another thing, like I was waiting for you to say it, but you didn't get there yet. But rest, right? Maybe that's
Mhm.
part of it. Like it's okay to say, okay, I need rest in this season. The
Yep.
season's chaotic, right? I
Yep.
need an extra 15 minutes, or maybe I need 2 minutes extra to sleep, right? Like I know that
Yep.
sounds crazy, 2 extra minutes, but like when you're desperate for sleep, you're desperate for sleep, right? And I think that's like part of this whole like season mentality, right? You start
Yeah.
realizing that like I need to adapt to the season, right? But I don't need to stop being me.
Yeah.
And I don't need to stop showing up as me. And I
Hmm.
don't need to fall victim to the season, but I do need to adapt, right?
Yeah.
And I love that you were saying that and that sense like, what do I need to do? Like, what activities do I need to do today to feel accomplished? But again, you don't need to do it all. And that's something Jackie and I have been talking about. Like, maybe that's something we need to bring to the podcast as an episode, but we've really been talking about like, how do we balance out our day? Like, do I need to do all the chores today? No. Do I need to find a day to do the chores? Probably, right? Like,
Yeah.
and maybe what worked this week don't work next week because it's a
Hmm.
different season, right? Whatever the math doesn't math, right? It's not the same, right? Maybe you don't have the same food in the house to prep the same meal, so it's not the easiest dinners this week, right? Or you picked all the hard dinners, right? Like whatever it is, or maybe you didn't have time to meal plan, and so you're just not ahead, right? And I think that's something too, like when you start noticing the little things about what's going on around you, like, hey, I'm in a busy season, you got to admit it first. Like, hey, I'm in a busy season. I need to throw out my beliefs and my ideas maybe in certain things, right? And I'm not saying like stop being you, stop doing you, right? You need to stop showing up in yourself, right? But it's adapting to that self. So maybe it's saying like, even though I feel that I need to have a full face of makeup every single day, right? Maybe it's I'll take the kids to school, and then when I have 5 extra minutes to myself in between kids going to school, that's when I'll do it instead, right? Because the kids have more going on, right? It's not saying I'm not going to be me. It's just finding different time to be you, right? And I think, and Jackie may have a different opinion about this. I know Jackie is going to have a different opinion about, right? Like, how do you still show up as you and still change your schedule? Like, I feel like you're better at this than me.
No, I mean, it's funny because I feel like every episode, not every episode, but a lot of our episodes come back to problem solving. Like we say this all the time, we're like expert problem solvers. And not that I'm necessarily an expert, but like we do it all the time. Ashley and I are always like, okay, I need to get more steps. So when am I going to get more steps? Well, while I'm cooking, I can get more steps. Like it's something so small and so silly, but it's like you just be an expert problem solver. And so have your priority list. What is one thing if you're in a super busy season or you're in a crazy season or whatever, what is just like one thing that you love that will make you happy that you can do for yourself? It doesn't have to take a lot of time, but like what's one thing? And you have to have that priority list because otherwise your time will get even more filled with things. And then if you don't know like what your priorities are or you're not sticking to them, then you're going to let everyone else walk all over you. And when you're in a busy season, that's so dangerous because you won't have time for yourself. And then you're going to go cuckoo crazy. I told Glenn yesterday, I was like, I definitely, because I had my sister here over the weekend, her little girl, her 2-year-old turning 3. So I had my boys and her, and Glenn had to leave to go to his grandparents. Like I had the kids all day. And like those are some interesting ages. And I just didn't take time for myself. And so yesterday I was like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I got to go take time for myself now. And I didn't prioritize that. Like, so then I was going
Yeah.
a little mental, but you know, that's all it is problem solving is okay. This isn't working. How can I change it so that it works? Like, it's so simple, but we just get like frustrated and then we don't think about that kind of stuff.
I feel like too it could be opposite too. Like you're saying busy season, it could be also slow season, right? Okay, I have
Yeah.
all this time on my hand. What tasks have I been putting off that I need to get done instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna watch a movie, I'm gonna scroll, right? And that might be okay to do that too, right?
Yeah.
It's creating that schedule that works. And that's what I'm saying, like was saying earlier, because I feel like I didn't say myself correctly, but like changing around your schedule sometimes. Like it's adapting to like, okay, like I need to do this for myself, but maybe in the morning when the kids need me more because it's the holidays and they need to bring in more stuff, or it's
Yeah.
this, right? It's the snow season, so they have to get dressed more. So maybe not doing my makeup in the morning and getting ready in the morning when I take them to
Yeah.
school and
Or
doing it
getting up earlier.
right, or getting up earlier. But I think too sometimes it's like, okay, well, putting tasks together. So like I need to do my self-care every day, right? Well, maybe doing it in the morning when he gets up is not the best time, but then maybe when he goes down for nap, I can do my self-care and then maybe give myself an extra 15 minutes to myself.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on the season,
Yes.
season. Depends on the
Yes.
season. I didn't even mean to say that. No, it's true. It's true. I know for me, like I was like very slow about my mornings, and I've realized lately that like I have to force myself to get up and start doing things because I feel like I don't want to, but I feel like a million times better when I'm like, okay, I got my makeup done already, like my hair's done, I'm dressed, I'm already empty the dishwasher before I even bring, Pierce to school. Like it makes me feel so good that I like feel like I'm ahead, even
Yeah.
though
No.
I don't
And
know that
that's
I am, but and so, and I can't do that all the time. So maybe something happened in the morning, or I'm tired, I didn't get a lot of sleep, like Ashley said, like things happen and you have to just be able to pivot. But
I
having
think
like a general schedule for yourself, even if it's different every single day, is so
yeah.
helpful.
And it doesn't and what a schedule can look like what you think a schedule looks like. It could be time schedule, it could be time goals, it could be like a time block, it could be
Yeah.
like I have to get my kids by 7 p.m. So all this needs to be done, like whatever it is, right? Like it's your schedule. I think too, like we could say, like in the season you're in, take gratitude, like take joy. Like I was able to accomplish XYZ. I am thankful for this person who walked through this season, who tried to accomplish these goals, who tried to do these things, right? Like that going back to where this episode started is like new year, new me. That ended, right? And you might be moving on, like, how do I move from that? But show gratitude. Show gratitude that person wanted to show up and take on the new year like that, right? Even if they didn't accomplish that goal and they can't figure out a way to continue and now they have to pivot to the next goal, right? That's okay. That is okay. But when you are not showing gratitude, you're not like grieving like that person. Like you're not like getting, you're not saying, okay, like I went through this busy season. What could I have done differently? Like, let me tell you, we are not doing a grandparents road trip after moving to a new state 2 weeks later ever again. That was a
Yeah,
lot.
that
Like,
was a lot.
yeah, right? Like, but I accomplished that. And I'm proud of myself in that season, right? But let me tell you, I came home and I literally was like, why do I just want to lay around and do nothing? Because I haven't been home, right? Like, and I accepted for two
Exhausted.
weeks. I accepted for 2 weeks that like this is not working out. Like, I just have to
Yeah.
rest. Like, I cannot keep up with stuff because I need rest. Right? We're sick, we're not feeling good, like we just need rest. But then I also realized, okay, like it's never gonna change. Like it's always gonna be busy. So right now we have a season when there's some consistency. I'm gonna take it and run with it, right? But I know that when I'm planning whatever's next, I need to be adaptable. I need it to be flexible because if I look back on the history of my seasons, they change rapidly. They change quickly, they change fast, they are hectic, and they're not consistent. And so then the plan that I need to go from here and pivot with to continue to be me and continue to show up and continue to do all the things is knowing that it's going to be flexible because seasons happen quickly for me.
Yeah. I think we did. I mean, I think that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. I will also say, like, and I think this just fits in as like an extra
Mhm.
thing, but like sometimes, like especially the new year started, you got excited, and then it kind of wore off because you realize like, oh man, I actually have to do all this stuff, and now you kind of want to fall back because it's comfortable to fall back, but you have to kind of keep pushing on. Sometimes it's going to feel uncomfortable. I mean, I talked about that last episode, so I don't want to go super into it, but it just popped in my mind. Like sometimes the season will feel uncomfortable because you're trying to become a new person, like you're growing, and so therefore it's going to feel different, and that's okay. It's okay to feel different. If it feels super off though, then that's when you have to be like, okay, it's not jiving, like it's not flowing, so therefore, pivot.
Right.
But
I think too, you got
anyway,
to like be like, hey, like maybe you just need to change the title. Like maybe it's not New Year, New Me anymore. Maybe it's like 2026 is my year, right? Or it's I'm gonna get myself ready to have a healthy summer to hike,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
I think sometimes that's what right when we're like losing, like when we're kind of falling out of season and we're kind of want to keep a goal, sometimes we have to like merge that goal into a new goal, into a new
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. It like morphs.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, right? I think really like if you're walking away from this episode, like something I Jackie literally looked at me, she's like, what is this episode about? And I think like I would like you to know that there is seasons, right? Life is different, it's built from different seasons, different moments, and you have to separate yourself from that, or otherwise you will become victim of it and you will not move forward. You will just keep kind of like cycling through the same
Yeah.
hamster wheel. Like you're gonna be like, why can't I get my mental health better? Well, you fell victim to the last season that was too busy. You didn't make time for yourself. And again, time can look different in every season. Time might be like Jackie said, wake up earlier. Or it could be like I said, take the kids to school and do it all when afterwards, right? Or it could look like I have a newborn and so I wasn't able to do all the things I want to do, but someone that has a newborn might be able to do all the things they want to do. Like everyone's season's going to look different. 24 hours are going to look different. The way we
Yeah.
handle things are going to look different because we were all taught differently. We were all taught differently. We have to reteach our brain.
Yeah. We
And
all
this is
have
part of
different
it.
environments and different amounts of help and different limitations, and everyone's different. So comparing is always terrible.
Yeah. And I think too, like Jackie and I were talking about this, and this might be just like a separate thing, but Jackie and I were talking about this too, is it's not comparing sometimes. It's taking people's like looking at what other people are doing and then studying it and learning from it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we look at stuff,
Yeah.
we want to compare because that's automatically like the Adam and Eve in our brain, like the bad and the good, right?
Yeah.
And I think we need to over trump that and look at stuff. So maybe you're in this season and you're like, I really want to continue these habits of new year, new me, right? So then go study what our people are doing for their new year, new me. Don't compare. Don't make yourself feel bad.
Don't go to the negative. That's the thing. Like when we say compare in a bad, most people use it in a
Yeah.
negative way, but like it's because you're taking it to the negative. You're like self-deprecating yourself
Hmm.
because you aren't doing all the things that someone else is doing when they might have taken it may have taken them a long time to get to where they're at. They may have had to pivot a bunch of times and figure out the schedule a million jillion times to get to where they're at to be able to do all the things. So it's like take like she said, like taking it and studying it and being like, oh, okay, like that's a good idea. Like how can I do that? Rather than being like, oh my gosh, they get so much done or there's so much farther. We started at the same time and there's so much farther, but there's so many different things that you don't even know what's going on. So don't take it that way. Take it like oh, wow, we started at the same time and look where she's at. That's amazing. Maybe there's something I could be doing to get
Yeah.
there too.
And I think too, don't be afraid to find people that you need to be in your circle to help you pivot through the season you are
Yeah.
in. So if you are wanting to go to the gym and you see someone that you really like at the gym that works out at the same time as you, I know this is scary, but say hi, right? Or maybe there's someone on Instagram that you've been following and you guys been liking each other's posts for a while. Message them. Like it's scary at first, but it's well worth it. Jackie and
Yeah.
I made it work out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You mean you create your own circle, right? So if you see someone that's doing something that you want, like
Yeah.
ask them. Be like, hey, how are you doing that? Or what did you do to get there? Or
And I
people
think
will
too,
answer.
like when you start realizing their seasons, speak up. Speak up. Like when someone you love is going through a season with you or next to you, speak up and say, "Hey, it's okay right now. It is a busy season. I know you're trying really hard and it's okay to feel that you're not accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish because we're so busy." Or, "Hey, I know
Yeah.
it's a slower season and you want to do all these things, but you don't know how to do all these things. It's okay." Like I think that's part of the season talk, like, being there with the person you're going through, doing the season with. Or say, hey, I'm going through a season right now. I don't know how to explain it and express it, but I don't want to fall victim to it either. So I need time to myself.
Yeah, like knowing your limitations, where you're at, and then
Yeah.
saying, okay, I know that there's these limitations, but how can I make sure that I'm taking care of me too? And what does that look like? What can I prioritize?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is amazing. And I really, really, guys, I want you guys to know that wherever you are in your journey, if it's point A, point 1,000, point I don't know, it doesn't matter. We love you so much. And we're so happy that you're joining us every Wednesday. We are going to have a special episode on Friday. So this episode's Wednesday. So stay tuned for 2 days from now. We're going to have another episode, kind of like fall in the theme of love, but we want to really talk about love is the center of everything. And this really connects to this episode because once you start seeing that there's seasons, you start realizing that love trumps that season. Love really will bring you through any season, will be the light to take you to where you want to go. If it's in a relationship, if it's in work, if it's in life, if it's in anywhere. Like literally love is the secret. If you love what you're doing, if you love who you're with, if you love every little moment, it doesn't matter what season you're in, you're going to want to show up for that thing. And we're going to get more into it.
So beautiful.
Thanks.
It's so beautiful. Sorry, keep going.
You're good. So we're going to talk more about this next episode. Please tune in on Friday for our special episode. We love you all. Thanks for tuning in this Wednesday. We'll be back next Wednesday for an episode. If you are loving these episodes, let us know by sharing a clip, sharing something about this episode with a friend, sharing it with us, reposting it, commenting, liking, doing all those things. Okay? We love knowing what you feel about it. And we're just excited that we get to have these talks with you. We'll see you all later.
Thanks for being
Bye-bye.
here. Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.